ladies and gentlemen, the episode that I think some people maybe have been actively looking forward to because we teased it, we tried to call our shot, putting out good karma into the world, and we're happy to say that we did not have Zendaya agree to an interview with us.
No Zendaya interview. Unfortunately, I know you guys were all waiting for that, but alas, no, didn't happen.
But I think we are more than happy to be the bigger people. We're going to leave that door open. We're going to say, hey, Zendaya, we recognize you, we respect you, and we'll leave you an open invitation anytime. We're not going to hold it against you that you didn't find us somehow to do this interview. If you do at some point find us, we'll do this interview at any time.
Yeah, whenever.
That's coming from me, Lucas Melby.
And me, Jacob Telejohn.
And the podcast, A Whole New Pod.
All about Disney Channel.
Original movies.
Yeah.
Like the one we watched today, which is, I wouldn't blame Zendaya for not wanting to talk about Zapped. Ever again.
Zapped. A 2014.
Yes, 2014. So far, 2 movies into the 3 could be in the running for worst year for Disney Channel original movies.
Unfortunately, yes.
Now, Zapped, don't be confused with the 80s boner comedy starring Scott Baio, who nobody probably really knows who he is. He's mostly well known right now, not even probably right now, but in like around 2016, he was a very active vocal supporter of one Donald Trump. But before that, he was like a sitcom star. He was in Happy Days. Joni Loves Chachi.
Did you call it a boner comedy? Is that like a common use?
Yes, boner comedy is kind of the...
Like Porky's?
Yeah, Porky's would be a classic boner comedy. The cover of Zapped is a illustrated version.
Not the one with Zendaya. Okay, let's
the illustrated version of like Scott Baio, who in the movie apparently gets telepathic powers, and it's him using the telepathic powers to lift up a girl's skirt to look up the skirt. And I saw when I was Googling around looking at stuff about this movie, I came across a tweet from Scott Baio being like, hey, it's come to my attention that Disney Channel, don't get confused with my Zap, and this isn't a remake, they're cashing in on the big name Zap. And it's like, there's people in the comments like, I hate it when companies do that. I'm like, yeah, I think they really wanted to go for the household name of Zapped.
I've never even heard of it.
Nobody has. I will say I did like Scott Baio's small role in Arrested Development of Bob Loblaw.
What?
Bob Loblaw.
That's his name in the movie?
In Arrested Development. Very funny bit. Seems like kind of not a great guy.
Was he a reoccurring character often?
I think he probably only reappeared like a handful of times. I think that would have been in like season 2. He represented Lindsay in the divorce, I think, against Tobias.
That name actually sounds familiar.
Bob Loblaw?
Yeah.
Bob Loblaw's Loblog?
One episode I might have seen, actually.
Well, Zapped is the movie we're talking today, and it is no Arrested Development, but it is not a complete flatliner. There maybe is some life coming through a defibrillator.
Mallets? Paddles. Yeah.
Shocking the zombie corpse of Disney Channel in 2014.
I gotta say, at least from my perspective, the last movie we did, I don't even remember what the heck it was. Cloud9, the snowboarding movie. I didn't like the way that movie started out, but it grew on me. And that's kind of the way that Zapped was with me today. I didn't really like how just kind of ridiculous it was, but it kind of grew on me, and it got more fun as it went along.
I think we've talked about it before, and especially once we get to our next episode, I think we'll feel it anymore. But we are not and never were the target audience of Disney Channel original movies of this era. Yeah, not just being near 30-year-old men, but even if we were teenage boys,
guys,
this movie is not for us. Not since the early days of Disney Channel, really, when we had more genre movies rather than a lot
Smart
of
House, Luck of the Irish.
We talked about that in the last episode, the development of Disney Channel original movies, where they used to just make them, hey, let's make a cool movie for kids, to now where they're kind of more dialed into trying to build the stars, trying to, get the girls into them. And that's why we have Zendaya.
She's maybe probably since like Zac Efron, she's probably the biggest star.
Selena Gomez.
Or Selena Gomez,
Miley Cyrus. this was actually in between, I guess. So she was in that show Shake It Up. That was the one with Bella Thorne.
Okay, yeah.
And then she was eventually in another show, like Casey Undercover or something like that. Where
Zendaya?
She was in, like, I can't remember if she was just a spy and she was in a family. I think, like, the whole family maybe were spies, so it wasn't completely, like, a Kim Possible situation. So, she was a big deal. And I will say, we've talked about it even in her little bit of frenemies, that Zendaya, of course, is extremely charming. And she does a good job of that in this movie, even if her character is potentially a horrible person.
Yeah, has bad intentions at times.
But it's kind of just hard not to like Zendaya. And we're not just saying that again to put out the good vibes, that if Zendaya comes across this episode, that we're not just shitting on her. So, I think there'd be a lot of fun things to talk about, but I would be concerned if it might be one of those things where it's like, actors do so many things, and it's like, oh, I did that, and this thing meant a lot to some people. I don't even remember doing that at all. Yeah, not that I think Zendaya was like, yeah, I was, well, I don't even want to say
remember this.
She's like, I was doing so much cocaine, but like Mark Hamill, he's done like lots of like voice acting work for cartoons and video games, and they'll be like, oh, did I do that? I don't even remember. Luke Skywalker, yeah, sure, I remember those movies. But yeah, Zendaya, if you remember playing one Zoe Stevens in a little movie called Zapped.
Some crazy brothers and some crazy boys. Crazy men, even.
Oh, man. These men, I've got some words for these men.
They're like dogs.
You could say that they are dogs.
They are dogs.
All right, so kind of an interesting start for a Disney Channel movie, because we're meeting Zoe Stevens as she's giving a toast at her mother's wedding to her future stepfather. So we have a single mom.
Who is named stepfather, character name.
Yes.
No real name.
At least as far as what Google gave me, I didn't dive further into like IMDb or whatever. Other characters, listed names, sometimes first and last names. Stepfather, credited as Zoe's stepfather.
Okay, his name is Ted Thompson.
Okay. I feel like that's maybe coming from... We should have actually looked at the ending credit. Because this is based on a book called Boys or Dogs. Okay. It's a hateful manifesto about men.
Yeah.
So, why'd you have to check? Why'd you have to fact check?
I'm sorry, yeah. Let's just pretend I didn't say that.
But we always talk about, single parents. But this is one where she's getting married right away at the beginning. And at least Zoe is superficially saying she's happy about her new stepfather. But is she really?
We see some antics start to, ensue. A dog is attached to a table who gets loose.
Yeah, we introduce, she's like, oh, my stepfather, who I'm happy about. And there's some other guys in my life, like my stepbrothers, Adam. And I don't remember the other kids' names, and it's like messy, fat brother.
Yeah, they all have kind of like bad kind of things.
So she starts just laying into the guys.
Adam, Zach, and Ben are the names of the kids.
And then there's a dog, and she's like, and this dog, he's got a penis, so that means he sucks. And even some like the audience members were like, this is kind of like weirdly sexist. And then, the dog gets loose. Shenanigans ensue. It ends with like a chocolate fountain spilling onto Zendaya. She almost wrecks
over her, yeah.
Almost destroys the wedding cake, and then she's just like, man.
Not happy.
No. And then we get the title. Electricity shooting across it, going, Zapped. The sweet life of Zapped and Cody.
Oh, I like that.
The boys in her life, so she moves in. It says a week later, she's moved into the new house. So she's moving into a new town, new house, and a new school.
Yeah.
And her stepfather, extremely loud. Her stepbrothers are the most obnoxious and nasty.
Her stepfather is the head coach of the varsity basketball team. So he kind of has like a coach mentality, get ready, chop, chop. He's
got an air horn, he's blaring. I don't think we learn he's the coach until probably about an hour into the movie. Yeah. And up to that point, he just talks about football a lot. So I was confused. He's like, let's watch some football. Yeah. And it's like, but you're the basketball coach. Let's
watch some football.
And these boys, they're doing like the most comical shit. Like, they're going into the bathroom when she's in there. She's talking about them pissing all over the toilet.
Yeah, we get some cool camera shots, some weird shots.
If you think putting a camera inside of a toilet is cool.
If you don't pee your pants, you're not cool.
As I said, I couldn't remember. Jacob gave me the names, but I don't remember which one was which. But the fat, gross one is all about making gross food, so he's making protein pancakes.
Adam is the oldest one, and then there's Zach and Ben.
Adam is played by Adam DeMarco, so they're like, hey, we don't trust you to not remember your name. Adam DeMarco we saw in Radio Rebel, and is also the guy from season 2 of The White Lotus.
Ben is the youngest one, and Zach is the middle.
So Zach is the one who likes to make messy stuff. At one point, he's throwing some stuff into, like, his other brother's mouth, and he's like, that's good. He's like, don't forget the hot sauce.
Dude, they get messy. Like, really messy.
Not that I love all the Twitter talk.
They're just covered in just orange sauces.
This is a real dudes rock moment. These messy boys, they're just having a good time.
They're messy boys.
What's better than that? Guys being dudes.
Dudes being guys, man.
But they stole her cottage cheese.
Yeah, she had her name on it, and it was set aside in the refrigerator. We see them pull it out, and they're adding it to, like, this concoction. They're trying to make a pancake mix, a special ingredient pancake mix, where they're just throwing everything into a blender. And at one point, they don't put the lid on, and they turn it on, and it just goes everywhere. It goes all in this guy's face, goes all over Zendaya. It's messy. They're messy, messy men.
They're like dogs.
They're like dogs.
So it's quite a lot, and it gets even further when she gets to school, is kind of with her stepbrother Adam there, and he's just like, blah, 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 blah. He's like super crazy, going a mile a minute always.
Yeah, he's very fast. He has a lot on his plate, he's got to he's like the captain, I think, of the basketball team. He's got all this just stuff going on in his life that just keeps him very rushed.
So this school shows how really they feel about the boys, because first we see weird cliques of, oh, those are the shirtless boys that lift weights. Okay, well, that's not necessarily, like, horrible. But then there is a group of boys that are referred to as the ogre boys.
They're just very stinky and dirty.
Yeah, classic boy thing of, oh, those are the smelly boys that never shower and wear dirty clothes.
Yeah, it was pretty mean to men in the.
But there's like stereotypes and cliches. Like the next group is the gamer kids. Okay, that makes sense. But like, there is no school setting where there is just smelly boys as like their identifying characteristic of like they're the group of friends who came together because of their mutual love for smelling bad.
Yeah.
Because there's like skater boys, I said, see you later, boys. I'm hanging out with the ogres. And, it's like, oh, these guys are all awful. And then we meet, like, the king of the awful guys, or maybe the king of my favorite guys, and that is
Trip. Who is played by a guy named Jedediah Goodacre.
Well,
I love the
name. That's maybe even a better name than Trip.
Jedediah Goodacre. That is his name.
And Trip's thing is he refers to himself in the third person and comes up with some names for himself like the Tripster, as well as Trip Van Winkle.
I like that one.
And then he turns and like farts at Zendaya when she's asking him.
He does a lot of fart bombs, I think he calls them. He does a lot of them throughout the whole movie.
Is this what they call a fart bomb? Is this one of those fart bombs?
Yeah, he's a character. He's not a big character, but he's a character in the film.
But there is one silver lining. She meets one nice person. Spoiler or swerve. It's a girl, not a guy. What?
Yeah.
And this is Rachel, who's a nerdy little girl.
Yes.
Who she says, like, I am little, but it's like, I don't know. They're trying to make, sometimes I feel like they're trying to make Zendaya seem giant, like she's the tall girl from Netflix's Tall Girl. And it's like,
yeah.
Maybe next to the Tom, what is it? Tom Arnold? No. Who's Spider-Man? Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Arnold. Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Yes.
This is what I talk about. Once we do these podcasts, there's things I think of that I want to say, and then it's just like I get to and we're like, I don't remember any.
Hey, Arnold.
Yeah, next to Tom Holland, she's bigger, but like, I don't know. Yeah. She's not like a giant person.
No, she's not a giant woman.
Again, Zendaya, I respect you.
We respect you.
I'm just taller than you. That's all I'm going to say. But if we do a video interview, I'll lay on the floor.
Yeah,
you won't feel threatened.
We'll lay on the floor and we'll offer you can step across our chests like in this movie.
Yes, multiple people lay on the floor in this.
For you.
So Rachel, she kind of reads as like a theater girl, maybe kind of like the piano girl in the High School Musical movies. Or like the techno girl in Camp Rock. She's wearing a fedora basically the whole movie. And she is letting Zoe know about like, boys are boys.
Boys are weird. But at one point she's like, we have the hottest selection of boys on the Western Front or something.
I didn't hear that.
She's like, we have the most attractive man on the Western Eastern Seaboard or something weird.
I do like the idea of Yeah, she didn't say Western Front, but that'd be funny. It's not quiet on this quiet. Western Front because we got hotties here.
Yeah.
Zoe's like, oh yeah, I'm going to try out for the dance team. So like that's planted a little bit.
Yes.
But first she gets dropped off to the wrong room, which she went to Rachel to ask her where her first class was, but then she gets dropped off to the wrong room. So it's like, thanks, Rachel.
It's like it's a science class or something.
She
biology
screams because they're watching a
praying mantis,
up close video of a praying mantis.
And Jackson's in there with his sunny sunshades.
Yeah, Jackson Hale, who doesn't just wear sunglasses inside while the lights are turned off and they're watching a movie.
He has like a leather jacket on.
And a beanie. So
yeah, he's a bad boy.
He's already dressed like how the girl in Geek Charming turns the film kid into.
Yes, true.
And the teacher's like, Jackson, can you... And Jackson's like, I know. He's rattling off all this smart stuff. So he's a hot guy, bad boy with a brain.
Yeah.
He knows like the kingdom and phylum of the
family, class, genus, species.
So the teacher says, oh, drop her off. So then... He's dropping her off, and then he, like, psychoanalyzes her. He's like, I bet you like everything.
You're always on your phone. She's like, well, actually, I'm only on my phone for 2 to 3 hours, and I limit myself. He's like, oh, well, good on you, girl.
I use an app to track my time. Ooh, I'm going to call you Smartphone. Man, not that
But
cool.
It does seem like she's the only one in the school that has a phone.
She's just very obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And lurking in the background as they're talking is Taylor, who will soon meet as
the ex of Jackson
and the captain of the dance team.
Yeah, school diva, kind of like in Mean Girls, whatever that Regina Joy.
My notes literally are saying she is Regina Joy.
Yeah, definitely.
And Jackson, this meet cute is dialed up all the way because he's just like staring at her. She's like, "What are you looking at?" "Oh, I'm just looking at you." And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
And here I'm a girl just looking at you.
Well, at least there's one good boy here.
Yeah. He's cool. He's never a bad character in the movie at all.
No, he's literally perfect. He's freaking the most perfect kid since Cody, the mermaid boy.
Oh, he's a good boy.
So then she goes to the dance tryout where Taylor is being a huge bitch. She goes up to her and says, "Hey, I'm Zoe. I was like the best dancer at my school. Can I do like my personal routine?" And she's like, no, fuck off. You dance with all of the nerds over there.
We don't want your kind here.
And then we see that her dance shoes, which were in her bag, she somehow didn't notice that they got fully covered with
pancake mix
from the morning. So she dances in them, and she does amazing.
Yeah, but then she slips into like that other Rachel.
Well, she like knocks the whole group down essentially, and then tryouts are over, and everybody that's not cool is on JV. So it's not even like the stereotypes are both like typical, but then it's like also like weirdly dated in a way, because then like all these kids who are on the dance team in like the JV are both either like coded as gay, like they give like high fives to each other and they're like very limp wristed. Yeah. But then they're also like 80s Revenge of the Nerds characters where one guy like has giant glasses and is Asian, and the other has like full-on braces,
headgear, yeah.
It's like, why would they even be on the dance team?
Well, at one point, one of the guys says, "I'm just trying to meet girls."
But he's also like, again, like a nerd. He might as well have like taken a hit off of like an asthma inhaler while he was saying that.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Yes,
queen.
There's kind of a message to this movie, but it's like the most brain dead message possible.
Just boys are just shitty. It's not even just teenage boys, because like she does this to like.
No, the message is boys aren't that bad. I don't want to like spoil too much, but like
in the end, yes, but her perception changes, yes.
But yeah, it's just like it just comes off as fairly mean to boys. And it's like, I'm not saying like
this
I'm not
is
saying
the part
it's
of the
not
film
unwarranted, but for a Disney
like the
Channel
of this film.
For a Disney Channel movie, this feels weird.
Yes. Obviously there is the turn where they try to, justify or they try to correct or whatever, like we're just seeing her perception.
The morals of this movie are like
girls.
Kindergarten level of good and bad.
Yeah. Guys are silly, shitty.
So to get the action in motion, back at home, the family dog, who I think is named Murray.
We don't see the mother very much at home.
No, she's oblivious to a lot of
what is
always
about working.
to happen. The dog completely fucks up all of her shit in her room.
He helps her unpack, okay?
That's what the shitty little brother says. including something she got from her mom that we weren't paying attention.
It's like a castle with like a princess on it.
Yeah, it looks like a Christmas ornament, kind of like it makes miniature
music.
castle.
It's like a music kind of box. I don't know.
Our guess is it was like something that she got from her dad, who's dead now, or whatever. But that's broken by the dog.
Yes.
So that makes her very mad. And then somehow, I think she goes into the bathroom.
He grabs her phone.
Okay,
the dog grabs the phone out of her hand.
Well, actually, first she purchases.
Oh, yes.
A phone app, $9.99. So it better be good, she says. And it sends out radio frequency, sound frequency to the dog. So you can
speak into the phone. So if you say sit, and it makes like that, the dog whistle noise, whatever it is, and like the dog can understand that means sit. She does shake, a couple other like trick things, and it does it all. And then all of a sudden,
she's like, "Teach me how to Dougie,"
and it starts Dougieing.
He does the salsa dog dance.
But he does grab her phone and takes it to the toilet.
Is it the toilet?
Yeah, he drops the phone.
I thought it was in the bathtub. We're like weird brothers, like scuba diving in there.
Yes.
And he jumps out and he's like, I know what to do, centrifugal force. And he puts it in a towel and spins it around his head.
It shoots out the window. It hits a satellite.
It does like a 900.
It goes around and around. And it's like sparking the whole time. It's zapping.
You could say it's zapped.
It's zapped.
And then it like slides down, like, I don't know if it's relevant that it slides down they have like solar panels on their house.
Yeah.
And then it lands into the dog's food bowl outside, which seems to be just pure ground beef. It's just a massive amount of hamburger.
It's very mushy. It lands in there and it's freaking out.
Which again, I don't know if that's relevant for what happens. But then, she goes outside and retrieves it. And
technology, man. Like, that'll do it. Never throw your phone into a satellite dish and panels. Solar panels.
Or a dog's mouth.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the mom, we cut to her and she says, I read online. It says, put phones that are wet in rice.
In rice. Brown rice.
So she leaves it in there and she goes to sleep that night and we see, it's zapping some more.
Yeah.
And next morning, it seems to be working fine. But what's this? The phone app isn't working on Murray anymore. He's not listening to her.
She's saying like the same things like sit, shake, lie down. And we see the dog not responding. But what we do see
is the earliest morning delivery of a mailman.
Out in the lawn, the front lawn. He's like doing backflips and he's shaking his whole body. Not just, he's just going nuts.
Since the Jenny Project has a mailman been so tortured in a Disney Channel original movie.
What they're making clear is that now this doesn't have effect on dogs. It has effect on humans.
And also
particularly men.
Little stepbrothers, because the nasty stepbrother comes up fully covered in mud and she says like,
back away from me.
Yeah, and he backs up and she's like, huh. And then the fat one says, look what I made. It's some gross concoction.
Set that down. Put it down. And he sets down his bowl. And then they just stand there like they're frozen.
And then she's starting to...
That happens a lot in this movie.
Put the pieces together.
She's like, I have the power. Then I think she says to the dad to be quiet because he comes in for football.
Yeah.
And he's like, be quiet. So then he's like, football.
Yeah. And quite honestly, football. Her power usage does not get off to a very sympathetic start because she immediately goes to get even with the tripster at school.
Yeah.
And she, tells him to, stop. And then he just stops moving. And then she's
shut your mouth.
Shut your mouth.
And he can't open his mouth. He's like, they're kind of aware of what's going on to them because they kind of act odd, what's happening?
I've seen some people describe it as all of the boys go to the sunken place from Get Out when they're under the hypnosis.
People have described this movie like that?
Yeah. I've seen some Letterboxd reviews, so jeez. I just remember that right now. The whole mysterious phone app somehow allows me to hypnotize other people. I'll just say is a bit of a trope. Within certain stories you can maybe find online. That I've maybe come across. I won't say anything more about that. But since it's a girl doing it here, it's okay.
It's fine.
But it escalates with the tripster where she says, go to the bathroom. And she basically makes him piss or shit himself in public.
Yeah, that was a little...
And it's weird because then she says, oh no, stop. So then he's mid doing it and he's around all these people.
He runs to the toilet, but he's got his legs crossed. He's running goofy because he has shit in his drawers. Yeah, it's not.
And I think she comes back into play with runs into him again a little bit after this, and he's clearly afraid. She's like, what is this fucking girl doing to me? And then she just tells him, just be nice forever. So then he stops like accusing her of fucking brainwashing and hypnotizing him. And she's like, oh, you're so nice, Zoe. You're the best. So, yeah, fucked up.
Not a great start. This is about. I was still probably questioning the film at this point. I was like, I don't know. This is kind of
through some commentary from Rachel. We learned that the app doesn't work on girls. Maybe because they're too catty.
Oh, that is something she says. Yes.
So they go both ways.
Ooh.
Equal opportunity, stereotypical jokes or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it was really the family's fault they didn't have a cat.
Boys drool, girls rule. They go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Boys go to Venus to get a bigger... Yeah.
I don't always remember that one. Anyways, montage time. You gotta have it. She's going around and hitting up all the different boy cliques at school, saying like...
The stinky boys, gotta wash
go take a shower, or video game boys,
stop.
Do yoga.
Yeah, pretty much. Or something with your minds or whatever.
Shirtless lifting boys, put a shirt on.
Take your shirt back off.
And then Rachel's like, no, I like that. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is kind of it's just a weird thing. I wouldn't think girls would be against the shirtless boys.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they're muscular. They're not like, me and Jacob sitting over there lifting.
She tells her brother to slow down because he's always running around.
Well, specifically, she tells Adam to focus.
Or focus,
which actually, that might have been that morning.
Slow down, focus,
where he just is staring at, like, a lampshade, and we find out later he is stared at it, like, the whole day.
At one point, he's looking at his toothpaste, and he's reading, there's so many interesting things in this toothpaste.
Yeah, I think that's mixing in this montage, where basically then she's like, yeah, gross boy, stop making gross things, make healthy food. Mm-hmm. Dirty boy, be clean. So basically, she has destroyed their entire personality.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is where I think she tells the stepdad, stop being loud. So it's like, they feel like, as we see them later in the movie, they feel out of character because they're like, what am I doing? I don't feel right in my body.
Yeah.
Because who I am has been stripped away on a whim by Zoe Stevens.
She's ruined them.
Then there's like a guy named Charlie who Rachel likes.
Oh, yeah. He's always so quiet, and he never...
Yeah, he's kind of like an emo-looking kid.
He never expresses his feelings, so Rachel asks, hey, can you make him express himself? So then he just starts, like, hugging her and never stops.
Well, yeah, we learn later on that she's like, well, maybe I don't like him because he's just hugging me all the time. And that's kind of, like, late game. Be careful what you wish for, sort of thing.
Yeah, what's wrong with hugs, though? Like, come on.
She does recognize when she's taking Murray for a walk, and she's like, well, maybe it's not completely ethical what I'm doing, but boys kind of suck, so it's okay.
It's fine.
Cool, Disney Channel.
Yeah.
In here, oh my god, it is so funny. We run into Jackson again in the park, who he's both like, hey, I didn't take you for a dog person. Well, it's not really my dog.
I'm out here by this bench with this single swing, and I'm reading To Kill a Mockingbird.
Well, yeah, he's reading a book, and she's like, oh, I wouldn't take you to read. What are you reading, like, How to Be Cool and Wear Sunglasses Inside? And he's like, no, To Kill a Mockingbird. And it's like, well, that could be, like, assigned reading for their English class. And she's like, oh, that's my favorite book. And they both give, like, their own analysis.
Interpretation of what they think.
Like, you gotta be kidding me with how over-the-top perfect this guy is.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him, ever. Like, there's no, like, oh, actually.
No, literally, he is the only perfect person in this movie who never does anything wrong.
That is true.
Then she goes to...
She doesn't deserve him.
Dance practice. And that we've already kind of talked about the nerdy guys who, for whatever reason, are on the JV dance team. And they end up making Zoe captain because none of them really want to be captain. But what? These guys suck, and they take really so long before she's like, oh, I should just use my phone to make them good. Like, we see them do a whole thing.
Does. Yeah, they're fumbling around, they're tripping, everybody's falling down.
One of the white nerds, it's relevant that he's white because he's like, I've been studying the Maori culture and how they dance.
Which is like slapping your
If there's any wrestling fans, if you are familiar with the Uso brothers, before they became like their current great version, they used to just do a weird slap dance entrance. And that is exactly what this is. Yeah. So Zendaya's both like, ooh, nerd, and ooh, Maori culture. We're not going to do that. So
basically.
That seemed kind of weird. But then she just uses the app to be like, follow my lead. And then everybody's like perfectly mirroring her and Taylor. If you remember Taylor, the rival girl, she's seeing this going on. She's like, what is happening? They're supposed to be bad.
Yeah, like, did we say that her hatred came from her seeing her ex talking to Zoe?
If I did, we maybe didn't emphasize it enough, but it's definitely a rivalry. She looks very
upset. Yeah, she's like, I don't know why he's talking to her. That's my boyfriend.
So they're practicing on different sides of the gym, and this just turns into an actual dance-off between the two crews. And they seem evenly matched, so that means we got to have an actually school-sanctioned dance-off.
A big game.
Because the principal's like, why is the JV team maybe better than the varsity team? Let's make sure that's not actually true, because that'd be fucked up. So then they're going to have, like, at the first basketball game at halftime, they're going to have a dance-off.
Yes, to crown the main team, I guess, the new varsity, or whoever's going to represent the team at state or whatever it is.
And remember that, because it'll be not emphasized for quite a while.
It is the big game.
And then to kind of rub the salt in the wound even further, right after they talk to the principal, Jackson comes up and is like, hey, I was looking for you. And Taylor's like, oh, really? You were looking for me? No, I meant Zoe. You want to hang out sometime?
Oh, God.
And it's like, oh, is this a date? I don't know if it's a date. It kind of turns into a bit of like a Seinfeld bit. And like, well, if you're getting lunch, it means it's a date, right? Oh, but he didn't say it was a date. What did you get? What did you order? Oh, I ordered soup. I don't know if that's a date then. If you just got soup.
Lucas is riffing right now.
I like Seinfeld.
You love Jerry. Jerry!
We're just running through what we were talking about while we're watching. Jerry! I'm busting, Jerry!
Oh, no.
Jackson Hale asked me on a date! I'm positively busting! Alright, so then Rachel has a moment of self-awareness where she's like, doesn't this kind of feel like movies where somebody gets kind of some special magical power and then somehow doesn't realize that they're using it for bad and things go really badly?
Yes.
And then Zoe's like, but who are the people in those movies? Aren't they boys?
She does say that, and like
so we couldn't fuck up because we're girls.
She hasn't really been doing things with ill intent yet. Like she thinks what she's doing is okay still, but like she's not trying to harm people. I don't think yet. Like there becomes a point where she tries to like. She has ill will.
Yeah, well, I guess she's not fully light Yagami in Death Note where she's telling boys to kill themselves.
Not yet.
But I could have easily seen a different movie be like, I'm telling you to stop. Like, and then the person like stops breathing and then dies, or like just takes out a gun and shoots themselves.
You made that joke when we were watching this.
But they're like, no, we're girls. We could never do anything wrong.
No, girls are girls.
Girls get it done.
Girls get her done.
So she meets Jackson at like a 50s diner. It could have been run by Dexter Jetster from episode 2. And it's not just a cool diner. He is in a chess club.
Diner. Yeah.
He's in chess club.
He's in chess. Not because he necessarily like relates with the people. He just thinks that...
He says they're good guys.
Yes, he says they're good guys.
But he says he's better than all of them.
But he can like beat them up or at some point or whatever.
He says I can destroy any of them in chess. So it's like, he's not just a bad boy with a cool outfit, sunglasses, a brain. He reads To Kill a Mockingbird. He's also an amazing chess player.
He's just an amazing guy, Lucas.
And I'm like, oh my God. So she starts to sit down and then she's like, oh, is this really a date? She has like a nervous breakdown where she doesn't know how to talk to him. So she steps aside.
She calls her friend.
And I don't really remember the advice that the friend gives because she's like, I've never been on a date.
Yeah, she doesn't really. So then she uses her device to make two other dorky kind of...
two of the chess clubs.
And she tells them to flirt with her. So she's like off to the side. Then she runs back to her seat. And then I'm following. Hey, ma'am, your eyes... Was your father a diamond seller? Because your eyes are real gems. Something just really...
Jacob's trying to act like he didn't fully write down this guy's notes to use on a girl sometime. He says, was your dad a thief? Because he must have stole the stars out of the sky to make your eyes.
Yeah. There was two of them. It's like the one guy, they were kind of like going back and forth. I don't remember the other stuff.
Basically, the idea was that she was trying to make Jackson maybe not jealous, but like recognize that like, ooh, Zoe's really cool.
Yeah, and like...
These guys are, steam's coming out of their ears. They're howling like wolves.
I almost thought that like he was going to like make a comment afterwards. Like, oh, what did you tell those guys to say that stuff? Because like she's away. And then like as soon as she comes back, these guys are following her.
Well, I thought it could have just ended where like she still had her like phone active. Because her phone seems to be listening like almost all the time. So sometimes I
thought she was going to tell them to like stop flirting because she looked uncomfortable.
She'd just be like, no, go away now. And I felt like, triggers the phone, but like we don't actually know how it ends. We just see the end of the date and they're walking back and they both seem like kind of awkward and she's like, wait. She seems to be thinking like, oh, does he not really like me? Because They don't kiss.
They don't hug,
they
kiss,
don't even
nothing.
hug.
They just kind of look awkwardly at each other and just kind of
It's like they're teenagers. And I'm like, despite it being a movie about mind control and Jackson Hale being the coolest guy ever, that maybe this is a realistic representation of teen love.
Lucas was taking notes.
You can't just take my joke that I used on you and turn it back on me like
I did
a minute later.
I did that.
So then it seems really weird because we really have not had anything with their brother or stepbrother Adam of being like anything except like a total spaz out.
And I wish they would have used him more because we liked him in his other.
It's like, this guy's actually really charming and good. So what happens is she goes home and she sees Adam and he's like staring at a basketball hoop and he's not able to play because he's too focused on looking at the net.
So then they kind of have like a little deep discussion, I guess. Talking like, I actually enjoy you as a sister, right?
Well, yeah, and then she's like, well, I was just on this date, and this guy was like, I don't really know what's going on.
And he's like, guys aren't all that bad. You just got to give us a chance.
Well, he's just like, hey, we're sometimes confused and weird too. Like, he probably just didn't know how to act like you didn't know how to act. Like, guys, we can kind of suck, but I don't know, we're people.
We don't have it all figured out.
Maybe boys aren't horrible, and I shouldn't mind control them.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, she leaves, and then he can't shoot basketball still.
Yeah, so he just stares at it again because he needs to focus.
And then I think maybe here is where he's like, I've got the scout.
Yes.
I'm struggling right now in my life because I can't play right now, and I need to play to get into college, but something's wrong with me where it's just not clicking.
I can't focus.
So she's maybe starting to feel that, hey, I fucked up. Because then also we learned that the stepbrothers and dad had fixed her whatever little castle thing.
Yeah. Box, whatever it is.
So it comes at her quick being like, maybe I am being morally bad and unethical.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes to a head because the next day seems to be the day that all of the hypnotized boys seem to be doing the
Everybody's
worst things.
acting very odd.
Well, it's like, the yoga boys are fighting with the ogre boys who now are like, wanting to sunbathe where the other guys want to put their yoga mats.
Yeah, they wanted to bleach or something. I think that's the term they use.
And then it's like, she tells all the boys to stop, but then they just fully stop.
Stop moving. So all the girls are like, none of the girls are affected by this. It's only the guys. So all the girls are just kind of like, what the hell's going on? Because like literally all the guys have stopped moving. Like they're just still doing nothing.
And then she tells them, go back where you were. And then it's like supposed to be that they're being worse than they were before. And like somehow she made it worse. It's like, I don't know. They still just seem the same. It's like, I don't think repeat mind control is really the issue here. I think it's just more the initial mind control.
Yes.
But then there's a little interesting thing where all of the nerds on the JV team want to resign. And then she says, like, you can't. You're just going to follow my lead.
Yeah.
So she tries to mind control them. And they do the moves along with her.
They do all the moves the way they need to, but they have no emotion. They have no passion.
And it was unclear whether, something is sort of breaking down in the mind control, where they're having more awareness, like, my body's moving, and I'm not moving it myself. I'm being forced to do it. They know they're in the sunken place, and their body's moving without their control. Whatever, we got to get to this dance-off. That's all that really matters. Because the dance-off is going to be that night.
Pants off, dance off.
And actually, in that moment, she is like, well, if my team sucks, there's guys on the other team. I'll just fuck them over.
Yes, so this is when she kind of starts, I would say, like,
but this doesn't even really pay off. Like, we see the other team dance, and they're totally fine. Well, something could have happened in between.
She does say, and this is where she makes them, like you said, like they're knocking into one another, they're falling down, they have no rhythm, but it doesn't last. It's not like it lasts till the big game, it doesn't.
And her and Taylor get in some fight, and I don't really remember what Zendaya says, but she tells her off somehow, and Jackson walks in right at that moment. And then he runs away, and he's like, I can't believe you were just like her. I don't even know you.
Zendaya has to chase him out of the gym, and they're like, I didn't know you were there, just everything.
And she's like,
falling apart.
I'm just confused. Like, do you like me or not? And he's like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of confused too. And then she's like,
so this is the first time she uses her phone on him.
And she tells him to kiss me.
Kiss me. And I thought it wasn't going to have any effect on him. Like he was just,
God.
Right?
If they went down that route.
Like it just wouldn't have any effect on him.
He's immune to mind control.
But it's like awkward. He kisses her awkwardly on like the cheek. And then he like kind of gets out of like a daze, and he's like, oh, I didn't mean for it to be like that.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like in his heart he did actually like her. Like the mental blockage of being like, I have to kiss you, but it's not under what I want to do. Then like broke his mind of like, why didn't he go for the lips?
Yeah.
And then he walks away, and Zoe remains to be conflicted. She obviously regrets what she's done. She swears off using her phone, but she does learn how to. Well, how could I reverse these commands? I don't want to use my phone anymore because that seems to just make things worse. But there's got to be some way to fix everything. Well, we'll figure it out at the big game. And we know this is a big game because the school announcer says there is a college scout in the audience. Ooh, very exciting.
They had to announce him, and he's sitting right by Zendaya's mom, who's finally here. She's around, and the boys.
The character's mom, not like Zendaya's actual mom, just shows up as like one scene in like the audience. Here, Zoe comes clean. She gathers around all the boys and her mom and says like, I've hypnotized you. And the boys are all like, huh? Yeah, maybe. Some stuff's been weird. And the mom's like, no, you have not affected all of the boys. It's not your fault. This town's just weird. We're out of touch with boys. We just got to get used to them. And she's like, no, Mom. Literally, I am mind control.
I control men, boys.
And one of the little brothers brainstorms like, oh, well, if it's a dog app, what do we always tell the dog to stop doing something? We say release. So they're like, oh, shit, let's just get the app out. Oh, what? My phone's missing. And it turns out
we see it stolen from her when she's in a bathroom or something.
So then we're seeing Taylor. She's in like the hallway, and her like
they see boys.
Gretchen Wieners. They kind of figure out like, oh, she must be using this app. Then they use it on the boys
and start doing really goofy stuff in the hallways. They're like on the floor, like jumping back and forth between the walls.
Wasn't that just in the ending credits?
Oh, maybe it was. I don't even remember what happens.
She tells them to shake, and we had already seen the mailman do that. And then she walks in. She has them lift her up on a throne to bring her into the gym. And the thing is like, we're supposed to... Well, there's a song playing that is literally called Super Bad Girl.
And you think this was sung by Zendaya?
No. But I'm just saying, like, the movie is hitting you over the head that the things she is doing are bad, even though some of them are only slightly different than some of the stuff Zendaya did earlier. Yeah. Like the throne entrance, okay, that's maybe a bit much. But then she's just having, like, the different basketball teams, like, do dances.
Yeah, she's making the opposing team do, like, the robot, and she's making her own team humiliate themselves by doing, like, a line dance, where you kick your legs up. So
it's like, well, I don't know, this isn't, like, they're treating this as like great Disney villain moment, like Ursula gets King Triton's trident or whatever. But then, she does like turn to the audience and say like, bow down to me through a megaphone.
All the guys. So it's not just like the boys in the stands, it's the men. So like the guy that's announcing the game is like bowing down, and one of the mascots on the other team is bowing down. The police officers, just everybody's bowing.
And Zoe confronts her and is just like, hey, what you're doing, it's like bad. And I'm like, wow, that's the message of this movie is like, mind controlling people is bad. And the other slight message is like, boys are not the worst people in the entire world. So that's why I said it's like kindergarten level themes and messages.
But
here.
Taylor says the same thing. She's like, oh, well, how is what I'm doing any different than what you were doing? Just because it's me, it's bad now?
And Zoe is like, yeah, essentially that is what it is.
Yes, because like she's literally like Zoe was never like bow down to me, or she wasn't like that stuff. She did kind of concoct something where she had boys throwing themselves to like help her not step on a puddle. I suppose.
Anyways, again,
I can't possibly see her as just a bad person in my eyes, in my heart, in my mind.
You can watch Euphoria if you want to see Zendaya as a bad person. But then Taylor, to really be evil, she starts targeting her family and says like, hey coach, scoot around on your butt like a dog.
Yeah, like a dog's
hey fatty, howl like a wolf.
Yeah.
And then
yes, because she's doing all the stuff to her family because for whatever reason, Taylor feels like her life was changed negatively because of Zoe's...
Because all the boys are weird now.
Yeah.
And Taylor likes boys. Unlike Zoe,
she really likes Jackson.
And then she's about to target Adam. And then I think what happens is Zoe's like, no, you can't. Because if you make him do weird dog stuff, even though the scout is also hypnotized right now, the scout won't like him. So she
starts shaking her butt.
Starts acting like a dog herself and begging. And then like the rest of her family somehow
break out of the curse.
Through the power of family, break out of the mind control. And all start acting like dogs.
They're begging. They're all doing this weird like combo of like down on your knees, up, down on your knees.
And we cut
up,
to like each of them individually panting.
So her little brother, the middle brother, the oldest brother, the dad, and then eventually Jackson comes over.
Who he came in post her saying bow down to me. So he was never hypnotized. No. So he's just getting in there, panting like a dog too, and it's just absolutely deranged.
We were laughing. We were laughing pretty good.
I thought I was like being mind controlled. I was losing my mind.
It was good. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail for the episode.
Oh man. And then the conclusion is, Rachel was in one of the mascot uniforms.
Yes,
and she clotheslined. Why was that?
Why was she in the mascot uniform?
It was a Hatching Pete reference.
Oh, okay.
So she clotheslines Taylor. They get the phone. They say release. Everybody goes back to normal.
Good, and it's like it never happened. Oh, but it's not over yet.
Well, first she makes up with Jackson, and she says, like, hey, I know it was, like, fucked up that I mind controlled you, but it was just because I liked you.
Just for gigs.
And Jackson's like, I like you too, so I'm not concerned about...
They don't kiss, do they?
No, not here. But he says, I'll take you on a real date.
A real date, yeah.
But yeah, moral quandary. This smart guy apparently doesn't have too many concerns about, like, ethics or anything.
No, even though that everybody was consciously aware of what happened. And, like, that's the biggest thing to me. I mean, like, there's a lot of magic, I guess, in this movie. But it doesn't, like, everybody's aware what's going on, but nobody really cares.
Well, I think it's getting at the point that you kind of talked about. And maybe some of that is just Zendaya as the actress is just like, well, it was Zendaya that did it. So, like, I'm not that mad.
Like, who cares? Yeah.
Maybe in a way that would seal Zendaya never wanting
liked it.
To do an interview. Be like, hey, if Zendaya, you want to mind controlling Zendaya, I'll let you do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you talk to Timothy on set of Dune 2, you'll learn how to do the voice to mind control people. Hey, go ahead and use it on us.
References
Zendaya.
I don't get.
It's all good to me.
Ryan Coogler. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, that's not... Nope. Nothing about that is relevant. What is, though, is that we still have the dance-off that's going to happen.
Dance-off.
And this is where we talked about... Well, I guess she does say release. So maybe by saying release, she has fixed the bad dancers on Taylor's team. So we see Taylor's team first. They do a decent dance routine.
They're fine. A good dance,
We see a projected applausometer that is helping to judge who is going to be the winner. And then Zoe Deschanel Zendaya.
Zoe Stevens.
Zendaya's talking to her team who did show up, even though they're not mind controlled anymore. And she's like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. Let's just be true to yourselves.
Just be boys.
Just go out there and be boys.
Yeah, have fun.
Do your dumb Maori shit. I don't care. Seems dumb as hell, but like, hey, it's not like a boy thing, so like, do it.
They do have
so they do literally like the Uso brothers like entrance.
It's pretty good. Two of the boys first come out and they start slapping themselves.
Not each other.
And there's no music.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, they didn't have a music entrance, but then they also planned this music, and then they just do impromptu choreography.
Zoe starts coming out, and then music starts to heat up, and then they're all slapping each other. And they're all choreographed. Is wearing,
I cannot...
Boys.
Yeah, this is just too funny. She's wearing a shirt that just says boys.
It's pretty good. They have like this, it's like a gray, purple, black, bluish kind of like color scheme that they all kind of have going on. I like the look. I like the dance. I like the music. It's fun.
It's a song.
It's boys being boys.
The song they're dancing to is called Too Much, and I think this is at least one in the movie that was performed by Zendaya. And it's a pretty fun song. It's got kind of like a... I'm always bad with describing genres, but it kind of has like a jazzy groove to it and didn't feel like the most just cookie-cutter Disney pop music that we get in some of these other movies. So I thought it was a pretty good song.
It was good. We liked it.
And then they win. The applausometer explodes.
Yeah, it goes off the charts, off the rails.
And the announcer's like, we've got a new varsity team.
Yeah.
What does that mean? We don't care.
Yeah, we really don't care. The bad girl never... Did we ever see her again?
Yeah, everybody crowds her and they rip her apart.
They rip her apart arm by arm, leg by leg.
They're like, we're not zombies anymore, but we're going to treat you like we're zombies. You. We see the final... Mostly the final shot.
We never do see anything with her brother and the scout. That never gets...
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, we never told anything about that.
As I said, she could have just hypnotized the scout to give Adam a scholarship or whatever.
But she broke her phone.
And I'm like, what? You could have just deleted the app. Like, you don't need to break your phone.
Yeah, because earlier she was getting all upset about her phone and losing it because it had all of her pictures.
You know, girls and their phones, am I right?
Music.
Smartphone, that's her name.
True.
So yeah, she stomps it, and it's got like a fake broken screen on it.
Yes.
But the movie ends where earlier in the movie, her mom's like, oh, Zoe, we're going to go for a family run. And she's like, no, I hate boys. I'm not going to go for a run. But now she's the one leading the pack.
She's like, you can kiss my ass. And she runs away.
And I was like, and then they just turn and they all get hit by a bus.
A bus. The end.
But no.
No, not the end. Bloopers. We get some bloops.
Real bloops. One time, the stepdad calls her Zendaya.
That was
she's
good.
like, oh, my name is Zoe in this movie. And he's like, oh, shit, I just thought it was because Adam's name was Adam. Everybody just was going by the real names. I don't even have a name. My name's Zoe's stepfather. And then a lot of it is just like actual dancing, and then people who weren't dancing. It's like, oh, we're going to have you dance. Everybody dance.
It's fun.
Do something crazy.
It's not over, though. The first ever, I think.
No, we just did have Teen Beach Movie.
Oh, yes.
But this is probably coming off of Teen Beach Movie. We're like, we got to leave him with a stinger.
Yeah.
So a boy we had seen earlier who was a part of the video game crew.
Yes. Is with some girl who's mean to him.
Who we had never seen before.
Not that I remember.
She's a real mean girl.
She's mean.
And he's, for some reason, is the only person cleaning up.
So she's having to serve detention. We don't know why.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
But he joined her, and he's basically doing what she was supposed to be doing, right? He's cleaning the gym up, I think.
I thought he was just cleaning the gym for some reason. I'm like, why don't they have the janitors do that?
Yeah, so he's serving her detention for her, and then they're throwing something away, or somehow they look into the garbage, and they see the phone.
And then on the phone, it FaceTimes, and it's Samuel L. Jackson. He says, hey, I'm here to tell you about the S.H.I.E.L.D. initiative.
Oh, no.
Or the Avengers initiative. I did the Mega 64 bit. But no, he finds his phone. And he's like, oh, what's this? Oh, it still works. And it flickers on, and we see the dog app. And then it goes,
$9.99.
Don't. Zapped 2?
Zapped 2.
What could they even have called Zapped 2? It wasn't enough of a setup, because then
Zap squared.
It had to be like, now it works on girls. But it's just like they see the app pop up, and that's it.
People would have had a lot of issues if it was a boy controlling girls.
Oh, 100%.
Did you ever see the poster for this movie?
I think so.
It says Zapped, and then like in the little quotes, it says, boys will be boys, but better.
Yeah, I think I did see
And it's her holding the phone, and it's zapping in her hand.
I believe this is also, apparently, this is the first Disney Channel movie where they like changed the logo from like the old one. Whatever that means.
From the Disney Channel logo, you mean?
The Disney Channel movie logo or something.
Yeah, gotcha.
We don't really know because we don't see that before.
No, I do miss that. I remember watching
Disney Plus doesn't go, my name's Maury Povich, and you're watching
awesome.
Disney Channel.
I miss that when they're swirling the wands and making the mouse ears. Good old days.
Yeah, I just feel like it wasn't like, the implication is like, oh, this girl will just get it. This shitty girl will get it, and she'll use it on boys. It's like, well, we already had that happen. So what would be really the tease for the sequel? And the thing is, there wasn't a sequel because this movie was like had moderately higher ratings than like some of the other movies, but still like not huge. Zendaya did stick around on Disney Channel for at least a couple seasons of that one show, but they never made another movie with her, interestingly enough. Yeah, I don't know why Zendaya...
5.7 million viewers, making it the most watched broadcast on cable that night.
Oh, yeah.
That night.
But it's weird that like Zendaya... We talked about like her and Bella in Frenemies. It was weird that they were like the main characters, but like not fully the main characters. Maybe, well, I feel like it would be clear because Zendaya went on to have a second show after her first show, and it was like she's the star of the second show.
Yeah.
That they didn't try to like capitalize on her more. But I think some of it is maybe they just were seeing like the waning impact of the Disney Channel
or just like
movies.
A broader perspective that she could make bigger and better movies.
But then They didn't do anything. I mean, I guess technically Marvel is still the Disney umbrella, so she got in.
She got in.
Those. But yeah, I mean, this movie, I was talking about to Jacob while we were coming up to record that it's rare that we have a Disney Channel original movie that's just, this is a good movie unequivocally. Doesn't happen too often. It's basically happened one time, and that is Don't Look Under the Bed. But the others is kind of like, we're always grading on a curve. And then there's some where it's like, this is just a shitty movie. Like, we just had Cloud 9.
Yeah,
I hated that movie.
Yeah. For that one, it turned on me. There was funny aspects to it that I enjoyed, but I didn't generally think it was a great movie overall.
But when a bad movie is bad, it's like...
It's not even fun to watch.
Yeah, it's not fun to watch. This was a good bad movie.
Yeah.
Like, its message is horrible, or it's just basic
execution.
As fuck.
I don't
Mind
know,
control is bad. Oh wow, thanks Disney Channel. I wouldn't have ever thought of that. Boys aren't the worst people. Wow, this is really helping the sex relations of the world.
And we like Zendaya, so that probably gave it 2 out of 100 movie rating, thousands or whatever it is. 200 movie out of 1,000 rating.
You're like Greg Turkington over here. So yeah, and then there's other movies like Camp Rock 2 where it's like, that's not, I mean, the music of that is good. The story of that is dumb, but it's in a goofy and fun way. So that kind of like gets there, but like this is just like, this is a bad movie, but we had a good time watching it.
Yeah.
Like there isn't really anything performance-wise, craft-wise.
No, I thought the brothers were kind of just goofy, like there was no really actors.
I do like most of the boy characters.
Yeah, there weren't any like actors or actresses that really took me out of the film. Like they were just bad. It was like the characters were just fun.
I like
having fun in the roles.
Idea of you being taken out of a film. Jacob, no, fully dialed into the mythos of this movie. He lived in Zapped. Yeah. He thought everything was real.
I wish he could.
He was actually obeying the commands of Zendaya.
I was rolling around. I was begging.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a fun movie. Worth watch it with friends.
Yeah, especially if you like Zendaya.
Yeah, if you're a Zendaya completionist.
It's a good Zendy film. Gotta watch all of her movies.
The genre of Zendy movies.
Zendy movies.
All right. Well, you can write us in and let us know how you feel about, or if you got any hot tips on getting us that interview with Zendaya. Again, door forever open. A whole new pod at gmail.com. If we are off the air for 5 years, I'll still keep the hosting charges up so the podcast will be available forever. And we'll do like the monthly episode or the yearly episode for those new DCOMs or whatever. But Zendaya, anytime. Again, we'll be the bigger people. Door always open. We understand, and we accept you.
We accept you. We love you.
So that's a whole new pod at gmail.com.
Or on Twitter at AWMPod.
And
YouTube.
We got to cover our next segment that will definitely make Zendaya want to be on our podcast, which is Never Remember. Would Zoe Stevens have been able to prevent 9/11?
Absolutely. Yes. She had the power to tell the hijackers to stop.
But
put down the control.
Didn't we learn that mind control, there's always something that goes wrong. So
maybe she can't speak their language.
Could it be possible that she tried to stop 9/11 or tried to just stop something, but then actually caused 9/11 inadvertently? Because she was like, hey, I think you guys... She told somebody like, you should be more religious, and then became radical Islamic fundamentalist terrorists. They did 9/11.
Oh, no.
But yeah, no, I think she'd be able to stop 9/11.
She could have said just no.
Yeah.
Just say no.
Guys, I think 9/11 is like bad.
It's a bad deal.
Like terrorism, I don't think you should do that. It's kind of toxic. Toxic masculinity.
She would have been like 3 years old.
What?
She would have been like 3 years old. Maybe 4.
Yeah, she's only a few years younger than us.
Okay.
So I think she was born in 96. So she would have been in kindergarten.
Okay.
Or something. We were, what, in third grade?
Yeah. We're in third grade.
Remember 9/11? All right.
Never remember.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, YouTube. Spotify. Rate and review us on places where you can. Spread the word. As well as to spread it onto youtube.com/ahwholenewpod, where you can rate. You can't rate there. You can like, comment, and subscribe over there. We've had some interesting ups and downs with the views there, which is interesting to tell, being like what hits the YouTube algorithm or audience versus like our downloads are usually consistent between episodes, which makes sense.
I feel like at the beginning of our episodes, we should say to like this video. Like this video.
No, I'm never going to do that.
I might.
I'll just edit it out.
God damn.
Anytime you do that, I'll just put in, she comes, she comes, she comes, and then people will know.
That's a like.
I tried to explain that to my brother and be like, yeah, I do this thing at the end of the episodes, and like, I did this, and like, I don't know, he seemed like completely unfazed. He's like, what do you mean?
He didn't even enjoy it? He didn't understand?
He just like, oh, okay.
Did you play the audio clip for him?
No, I didn't.
You need to.
I thought just the premise
I don't even know
of
what
Jacob
episode that was on.
I was like, yeah, see Jacob, he just
stutters.
like repeats the same word all the time, and this time he was saying she comes, she comes, she comes, and he's just like, okay. Like, okay, cool.
It's great. It's iconic.
Let me tell you about the time where I corrected Jacob and Dustin on the name of a video game. And good luck, Charlie. It's Christmas.
All these things stick with you. They haunt you.
They don't haunt me. They stick with me because I edit the fucking episode.
Yes.
And I have to. They're
forever in your mind.
I do a little bit of editing to give the effect of what those little sound bites are, so that allows it to stick with me a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't want this episode to stick with me too much longer because surprisingly, it's been a fully featured episode because Zapped.
It caught our attention. It kept us entertained.
Shot through the heart, and you're to blame. Zendaya, come on.
Yes. Come.
Are you a CEO, CFO, or other executive facing these or similar charges?
Why should you go to jail for a crime someone else noticed? You don't need double talk. You need blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. No habla español.
Well, we're not here to talk nonsense to blah, blah, blah.